Listen to this episode if you have ever wondered how to leverage a personal brand for a product-based business. Now, I know this can seem kind of easy and natural for service-based business owners, or if you own your business and you're the face and you are executing the product, but how do you actually do it if somebody is just buying a product from you? Now, I know there's so many questions about this. I know you're already saying, Maddie, I don't need this. I'm boring. Nobody wants to see me. I'm too old. I'm too young. I'm too boring. No one cares. It's too random. I've heard it all before. Today we're going to talk about why that's all false, why it's actually a superpower, and how for you to actually add it into your strategy right now. There is so much that goes on with a product-based business. I hear it really often. I have worked with hundreds of business owners, and a lot of people have told me, you know, it's too random. I don't want my face out there. No one cares. I don't have a beautiful home. I'm too boring. I'm too old. No matter what you are saying, no matter what your excuse is, there is nothing wrong with you as you are right now showing your face as the face of your brand. This doesn't mean that you need to be an influencer. This doesn't mean you need to share every single moment of your day. It doesn't mean everybody needs to know what you ate for dinner and all the skincare routine that you put on at night. That's not what we are asking of you here. We are asking of you to be the face of your brand so people can humanize your brand as a person instead of an entity and connect with you deeper. If you have been a part of my world at all, you know that I push community building. You know that my specialty is helping people build ride or die communities around their brand so you can have a business that lasts, a business for longevity, a business that makes sales easier than other businesses out there. And at the forefront of this is making it where your audience can connect with you as a business owner. Your business can, or your community can connect with you as a person that shares similar values that they really either look up to or they feel similar to. And at the core of community building frameworks really comes down to connection building. And if you think about it right now, do you feel like you have a personal connection to some of your favorite brands out there? Whether it's Lululemon, do you have a personal connection to them? Not really. Do you have a personal connection to Anthropologie? Not really. If you did, would you have a stronger would you want to go there more often? When now look at the brands that you do feel like you have a connection to, where you know the founder, maybe they have a podcast, maybe they are an influencer, maybe they are just a business owner that has prioritized personal connection in their marketing. Don't you feel more connected and more apt to try their products? I have business owners like this that I can think about in my life, that I have followed them for years as an influencer. They started a product and now they have this crazy big business, and I would literally buy anything that they launch, at least to try it, because I listen to their podcast twice a week. I follow them on Instagram. I feel like I know them on a personal level. And so I want to support them, so I feel more connected, so I feel like I want to try their products. Having this personal connection behind your brand is a superpower because it makes people connect to you quicker. It makes people connect to you easier. It is truly humanizing the connection with your brand as opposed to trying to get people to connect with an idea that has no face behind it. There's a reason Jake from State Farm exists. There's a reason Flo from Progressive exists, because things like insurance are really hard to connect to, are really hard to have a connection to humanize. So they put an actual human behind the brand. Now, yes, those are not the founders of the brand, but at the capacity that a small business has, if you are the only person that works for the company, it might need to be you, or it can be your daughter, it can be your friend, it can be the person that you hired to do your social media marketing or your shipping or whatever it may be. But having a personal element behind your brands helps people really connect to you. It's not that you're too boring, it's not that nobody cares, and it's not that it is too random. There's a reason that Get Ready With Me's are the most popular videos watched on TikTok. There's a reason skincare routines or night routines or morning routines are some of the most watched videos on YouTube. Just daily vlogs of people literally just taking a camera around with them and showing them the behind the scenes of their business or of their day. And I know right now you're saying, yeah, Maddie, but those people are going to the Hamptons, or they're going to Tahoe, or these influencers live cool lives. No, that is not the point that I'm getting at here. People that live normal lives are getting views in that sense. People that are wanting to buy from you are going to connect with you no matter the life that you are living. It doesn't matter if your home isn't perfectly aesthetic. It doesn't matter if you don't feel like you're living the life of the ideal customer that you're trying to build. Yes, we want to make it where they can kind of either aspire or connect to you. You have to be able to connect with your ideal customer, but that doesn't mean that you're too old, you're too boring, you're not aesthetic enough, you're not interesting enough. It just means that your ideal customer will still connect with you no matter what it is. The most mundane content is the content that gets the most connection, that harnesses the most attention. Now, I'm not saying that on your feed, you should be creating all of this personal content, bringing me throughout your day-to-day. This really can be done strictly on your Instagram stories or just being an element of your marketing. When you do add this personal connection to your brand, it's a superpower for your people to really feel like they are a part of your brand and that they know your brand on a personal level. It's humanizing your brand to, again, allow people to connect with you. It's allowing people to see you as a person and as somebody that they are similar to or aspire to be. It's really fast tracking your community building at the end of the day. It's just like you've seen at markets, if you have ever done a market, that either you going to a market or as a customer or as a seller, you feel more connected to those people because you know the people behind the brand. I am a sucker for a story at a market. I walked through a farmer's market and let me tell you, I literally am like, tell me a story and I'm gonna buy it. If I don't even like your product, I'm gonna buy it because you told me a story and you talked to me and I see my clients in you and I just want to support you, and I literally love small businesses so much. You could tell me anything. You talk to me like I literally should just put headphones in at a market and just not talk to anybody because I would spend a lot less money. Because the minute somebody talks to me, I am going to buy something. That's because I have that personal connection. It is humanized to the brand and it's at such a rapid state because it's face to face. We're trying to build that type of connection, that type of similarity or aspiration online as well. And that is what a personal brand does. It really is just adding a personal element to make your brand stand out, to make people connect with you quicker, and to make people pick you over other options. Some good examples here: Set Active. Their owner started a podcast and just talked about, what it's like to be the owner. I think she called it Ready, Set, Go. I forget what her name is, but she did a really good job with this. And the thing that she did that was really interesting is she was the face of her brand in the beginning, and she kind of phased herself out. She still has a big following herself, and she does still have a presence in the business, but her team has now kind of come over as a little bit more of the face of the brand as her business grew. But in the beginning, she was the major face of the brand. She started a podcast. She allowed people to connect with her. She talked about being a mom. She talked about, her lifestyle and what it was like to be this business owner on a podcast, and allowed people to connect with her there. Midday Squares is a company that has a strong connection to the founders of their company, and they are still the face of the brand on social media. They're little kind of like coffee pick-me-up chocolate squares that you can drink, that you can eat halfway through the day as like a little small pick-me-up. Or Frownies. I don't know if you've ever gotten the ads for Frownies, but the woman whose grandma started the company is the face of the brand on Instagram, on TikTok. She is constantly answering people's questions, and they have a face behind the brand. These are 3 businesses that have really gotten so much traction by utilizing personal branding a part of their branding. You should go look at those 3 brands and how they really did it and how you can also do that. So what to do. We know that it's important. We know that it's something that you should do. Let's talk about what this can be. This doesn't have to be, again, you being an influencer and you sharing every single day. This doesn't mean you need to start a second profile and have it be a personal brand. That's different than a service-based entrepreneur like myself. What you can do is just add a personal element on your stories, a personal connection, show you using the product, show who you are, show having some sort of personal kind of content pillars. You can have 1 to 3 kind of personal content pillars that you're just talking about on your stories. And it doesn't need to be random. It doesn't need to be like what you're eating or your dog or what you're reading or something that's incredibly random. It can be if you want to, but if you feel like that is too random for your audience and you want to have more of this like brand mentality that it doesn't need to be a face behind the brand, just do either how you use the product or like where you're taking it, how you're styling it. It can be on brand or on industry. So like if you have a children's boutique, you can talk about being a mom and like the realities of being a mom. If you are in a boutique space, you can just talk about how you're styling the items and like what trends you're loving and bring that more personal touch of how you are styling it and what your style is. It doesn't have to be this like totally random thing. You don't have to talk about your coffee. You don't have to talk about those other things. You can to add a more personal touch to it if you're an artist or if you are somebody that's making the product or you're a stylist or something like that. It's okay. Like a photographer, those are kind of more service-based businesses that you can just have people like you and your style so they want to buy from you as well, but you don't have to. It can just be a natural way of how are you using your product, what trends are you really liking, what things are your favorite right now, and you're kind of just building that there. Because really the goal here is to get people to feel similar to you, as well as to get people to see you as an aspiration of some sort. And it doesn't need to be you have to be an aspiration. Some people, your ideal customer, will naturally attract to you if they feel similar to you or if they aspire to be you. So it really just depends on who that person is. So if you are making all natural products, maybe you are talking about some of your swaps that you're making. Maybe you're talking about your sourdough. Again, that's on industry. It's just like what other ways in your life are you eliminating like toxins or adding more natural products in? What is that personal element that you can bring in? And again, a lot of this can just happen on your stories. You can, like again, the children's boutique and you being a mom, that can be like a relatable reel of like, I just cleaned the house and then you walk back in 2 seconds later and the house is a disaster. That can be a personal, relatable piece of content that still humanizes your brand and makes people feel like you are similar to them. So it can work on your feed, but if your brand is something that's a little bit harder to do that to, it's okay for it just to be on your stories and to get them to feel a little bit more connected and involved in what you're doing. The next one is you can just be the face in videos and in videos that you are answering questions to for your brand. So you really can just be like the face of the brand. You can be the person showing up on Reels, responding to comments saying, let me answer this question, or a question that I get really often, or come with me to go and do this thing. You can just be the face in the videos with adding this personal element into your stories, just stacks on top of each other of having more connection to you as well. And so it's just answering business questions. It's becoming face-to-face where you are maybe educating your audience on a topic, talking to them about the ingredients or the benefits or the transformation or whatever that might be that you can educate your audience on. It can just be where you are putting your face out there as well. At the end of the day, your goal is to just make people know you. And deeper than just knowing you as the face of the brand is like that you have some small other little things about you. Like, what are your quirks? What are things you like? What are things you don't like? What are trends you're loving? What are trends you're not liking? What are like what's a routine that you have in your day-to-day that you really like? Really, all you're trying to do with a personal brand is humanize yourself and get people to connect with you, make people feel similar to you, and just add a face behind the brand. And this is something, again, that you can kind of phase out as you grow, or you can change the face of the brand into somebody that's running your social media. But right now, as the business owner, you have a superpower at your fingertips, which is human connection. Since the pandemic, people are trying to connect with brands on a human and a value level more than ever before. And so I have been preaching personal branding for a long time, even before then, but ever since then, we saw a major shift in consumer behavior that people want to know who they're buying from. It's especially important with Gen Z shoppers, is that they want to know who they're buying from, who they are supporting, and what that supporting really means. And so they want that connection. The up and coming generation, this is only getting more and more important, as they want to know who they're shopping from and what their values really are. In a world of being able to order anything on Amazon and buy anything from who knows where and what country it's coming from, who's like producing it, some people are really attracted to this idea of having this connection behind the brand and knowing who that is. It'll make them want to come back. It'll make them want to be involved in your community. It'll make them want to share about other people, and it'll really build this strong affiliation with you as your brand and make it where they increase the customer lifetime value at your business, which means the amount of money they're spending with you is going to compound the stronger the personal connection is. If you know anything about my story, I started as a blogger. And I was like an OG influencer, you know, like this was before the influencing as it was today. There was no Amazon storefront back then. And I was talking about outdoor living, outdoor exploration, sustainable, low toxic, non-toxic, all natural products. That was where I got my start on social media. And I rebuked the idea of wanting to put my face out there for a long time. I was in college. I didn't really want my friends finding my blog. And so I kind of just like started to make content without putting my face out there. And I was just providing value, and like truly nobody cared. Like people were following me because I was giving value and it was pretty, but nobody was buying anything. Everybody was just consuming information and nobody was buying anything. And I remember, again, I have told this story in various episodes, but I remember like I made all of these gift guides for Christmas. It was like links, and it was like really a complex process back then to backlink to things and get the commission for it. So I was linking and creating these gift guides for Christmas, and I was like, this is gonna be it. Like people are gonna buy from me. I'm gonna get some of my first sales and people are gonna be so excited about it. And like I put it out there and like nobody cared. I got a couple of orders, but it was because my angels of parents, my lovely, lovely, lovely parents who are always so supportive, sent the links to like their clients, my aunts, my uncles, their friends, to be like, hey, click these links and then buy off of Amazon, and it'll help Maddie like get her start here. And those were really the only sales that I made that holiday season. I was so frustrated, and this is really where I dove into understanding strategy and learning how to really develop a social media strategy behind a brand that actually makes really consistent sales. And once I did this and I looked at what all of this has to do with everything, I started putting my face out there against my dang will. I put my face out there, all right? And all of a sudden, I saw the connection grow. I saw people like start to engage with me more. I saw some of my first really incredible sales. And the next holiday season, I made $30,000, or I sold $30,000 worth of products in 6 weeks. And so within 1 year of adding, and of course I didn't like immediately add all of this in immediately after Christmas. I did a bunch of learning. I dove in, I started testing things. And then by the next year, in 6 weeks, I sold $30,000 worth of products. Because one of the major things I shifted was I added this personal connection, I added this community focus, and how you build a community is by having a person, a spokesperson. If you think about this, what community out there doesn't have a spokesperson, doesn't have a face of the community? It's kind of hard to do that, because nobody has who they're connected to. There's no like leader. There's no humanization behind that community. There's always this person that you have to start this community setting. You can have communities around shared values, around people, whatever that might be, but there needs to be humanization behind the community that you're building. So if you want to build a business for longevity, if you want to build a business that lasts, that makes sales, that has guaranteed people that are going to buy every single time that you are selling, what you have to do is you have to focus on this personal connection. And how you leverage this personal connection in a product-based business is show how you're using the product. Ask people questions. Answer their questions with your face. Educate them with your face. Get them just to know you, who you are, the things you like, maybe your style, how you wear it, the things you like, the things you don't like. What you're just trying to do is get people to know you so they can feel connected to this brand as you, as like the umbrella face of the brand, the umbrella owner of the brand. And then they can say, oh, I'm supporting her. She's similar to me, or I aspire to be like her in some way, or I feel a connection to this owner over other brands that I would rather support them. It's just like the other day, I found out one of my friends' families owned a laundromat. I have always gone to a different laundromat. I immediately switched to going to her laundromat. And I go to a laundromat because I live in a bus. All right, I live in a bus. We don't have a washing machine here. So I go to a laundromat, and I always went to this other one. And all of a sudden, I found out her family owns a different one, and I went to that one instead. Why? Is because I have a personal connection to that one, and I would rather support the one that I have a personal connection to than a random entity. That is the difference of having a personal brand versus not. Online, in person, no matter what it is, when you know the owner, you feel more connected to it. Think when you know the owner of any business. If you go to a restaurant and then you meet the owner, you want to go back there because you're like, oh, I know the owner. Even if you met them once at a dinner party or in passing, you feel like you know them better and you would rather go there. It's the same thing online. We see it in person, but we don't always, like, building a business in person uses the same strategies online. It just looks a little different. It's packaged a little differently. You can do this on your stories. Just let them see who you are, have some sort of personal element, show you using the product, how you use it, how you wear it, answer the questions, and people will connect with you as the business, and it'll help build your community quicker. This is a superpower that you have at your fingertips. And if you're saying I'm too boring, you're saying no one cares, you're saying it's too random for me, or that nobody wants to see my face, all you're doing is you're saying no to this superpower. You are pushing back that superpower. And I did it for a really long time, which is why I can say this to you. I am not somebody that I thought would have my face all over the internet, that would be putting videos out there of me pointing at boxes or me showing up on my Instagram stories. It's not something I thought was in the cards for me. I was like, I was kind of afraid of the judgment of it, especially when I first started my blog. And then eventually I said, Maddie, who the heck do you think you are? These people, if they have an issue with me putting my face out there and doing these things that I'm excited about and working on these projects and building this business, why do I care about their opinion on it? Because the people that matter don't mind, and the people that mind don't matter. And that's that. Like, at the end of the day, you can't take criticism from people that are not doing something that you want to be doing, or the living a life that you want to have. And a lot of not wanting to show your face is you don't want the judgment. You don't want your face out there. And a lot of it is rooted in that fear. And again, I was right there with you. And at this point, I am confident in my business. I am confident in my marketing. And when I had a conversation today with somebody that I told them I had a podcast, and they were like, what do you talk about? And I was like, business. Like, I have a business that I talk about, like business and marketing and things like that. And they were like, and you just talk to the camera? Yep, that is what I do. And it doesn't bother me because I'm confident in it, but it does take the muscle. It takes a little bit of, I have to get through it. You have to start bit by bit. If it's showing your face in a photo, pick your favorite photo of yourself ever and put that out there. And then maybe put a picture of yourself in the moment on your Instagram story. And then maybe work your way up to recording a video. And when you are doing this and you're feeling a little nervous about it, shower that morning and put a full face of makeup on if that makes you feel good. Put your favorite shirt on and record content when you feel your best. All right, make sure you're ovulating, make sure you get a nice good old cup of coffee that morning and have some fun with it. It doesn't need to be something that you show up without makeup on, in your PJs, your hair looking a mess. You can just enjoy, you can at first show up that way. I will go live right away in the morning with my PJ shirt on without any makeup on anymore, because it is who I am. And that is I feel fine doing it. If people are going to judge me, I have a casual brand. And if people are going to judge me for that, that's not my fault. Those people probably aren't my people anyway. All right. So make it your goal this week to introduce yourself on social media if you've never have. Make it your goal to show your face at least once this week on your social media and just introduce yourself. It's a great intro into it. Hey, I know I don't show my face much on here, but I am X, Y, and Z. This is who I am. These are some things that I love. These are some things that I don't love. This is how I started my business. And you might see a little bit more of me around here because I am the face behind the brand, and I want you to know that. And start there, and then just start to add it in from there. I hope that this was helpful for you. Building a personal brand in your product-based business is an incredible superpower that you should take, and don't take it for granted. You need to take and hold this opportunity strong and go from there. I hope you have a wonderful day. Come hang out with me on Instagram at thisismadisonpage. Send this episode over to your business bestie so you guys can have a conversation about it and she can get the information too. Share it in your Facebook groups, put it in the group chat, send it over to your friends at the farmer's market so you guys can have this conversation and support each other. When you do share a picture of your face that I know is really scary, you guys can support each other and comment on it and start hyping each other up, because those are the people that we need in life. All right, have a great day. Come hang out with me on Instagram. I love you. I'm rooting for you. I'm in your corner always. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see how my pup gets so excited. He knows when I'm finishing anything. It's so funny. But I hope you have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.